welcome back to the deep dive. Okay, I've got a question for you right off the bat. It really made me think when I first read our source material today, why are you still carrying it?
Hmm.
Seriously, think about it. We're living in this world where we're almost always on.
Yeah.
It feels like we're constantly wired for survival, not really for, well, relaxing.
Yeah, that's a huge part of the modern condition, isn't it? Always keyed up, ready for what's next.
And it definitely takes a toll on our nervous system. We end up carrying all this mental stuff, big and small, often without even realizing how much it's weighing us down.
It leads to this way of breathing that's usually quite shallow, fast, and mostly unconscious. It just becomes the default setting.
Exactly. And the material we looked at today suggests this isn't just some minor habit. It's actually like fundamental.
It really affects our whole being.
Right. So for this deep dive, that's our mission.
Yeah.
We want to understand how our breath, which seems so automatic, right? How it actually feeds into this on state.
Yeah.
And what our sources are calling conditioning. But maybe even more importantly, we want to figure out how we can consciously use our breath to start letting go of these mental burdens.
We've got some great insights for this.
Our goal really is to see if a simple shift in how we breathe can genuinely offer a shortcut to, freedom from those thoughts and feelings that just stick around, those stories we carry.
And when we say conditioning, we're talking about those ingrained patterns, right? The mental, the emotional habits we've built up.
Like automatic responses.
Exactly. Beliefs, behaviors, the stuff that runs on autopilot, often totally beneath our conscious radar. It shapes how we react to everything. It's amazing how physically tied we are to these internal stories.
Okay, so before we really jump in, just take a second. What little burden might you be carrying right now? Maybe unconsciously.
Could be anything. Worry about tomorrow, replaying something someone said.
Or just that vague feeling of unease. Just hold that thought. Because the cost of this kind of unconscious breathing, it's actually pretty significant.
It is, and it's more than just momentary stress. Like, the material says we're trained for survival, not relaxation. So the breath gets shallow, fast, often goes totally unnoticed.
Which keeps us primed for fight or flight, basically.
Right, instead of rest and repair. It has real implications for the nervous system.
Okay, let's unpack this, because this is where I found it got really interesting. I was reading through, and this one line just jumped out. Every unconscious breath feeds conditioning.
That's powerful.
It is. It made me think, okay, what does that actually mean in practice? How big of an effect does it have?
Well, it's a core idea in the sources.
Yeah.
It suggests that each time we breathe unconsciously, especially that shallow way, we're kind of reinforcing those mental loops, the ones we don't actually want.
So not just general stress, but specific patterns.
Yeah, exactly. That feeling of not good enough, maybe, or the urge to put things off when they feel hard, or, automatically comparing yourself when you see someone else doing well.
Okay.
It's like our energy, our life currency, as the source puts it, it's being spent keeping these old loops going, keeping us stuck.
Wow, life currency, that really lands. You think about those moments, maybe you're trying to focus, but your mind just keeps replaying some argument or worrying about an email. Your breath, your energy is literally fueling that instead of what you want to be doing.
Precisely. And sometimes it feels necessary, maybe like a protective thing, right? But the question is, how do we know when it's a genuine response versus just old conditioning that's not helping anymore?
That is the crucial question.
And the answer seems to lie in awareness, conscious awareness. If our breath is just automatically fueling fear or resentment or comparison, we're essentially, like the source said, paying rent to moments that are gone or haven't happened.
And the cycle just keeps going unless we step in.
Right. It's not about ignoring real danger, but about seeing when the danger is just an old story playing out.
This reminds me so much of that classic Zen story. It illustrates perfectly how we get caught carrying the story long after the thing itself is over.
Oh, the one about the two monks. Yeah, it's a great one.
Tell it.
Okay. So two monks are traveling. They reach a river crossing. It's all muddy, and there's a beautiful woman there in a lovely kimono, hesitant to cross.
Right.
The elder monk, without a word, just scoops her up, carries her across the mud, and sets her down gently on the other side. She thanks him. They move on.
And they walk on in silence for hours. But the younger monk is just stewing. You can imagine him replaying it.
Totally agitated. Finally, he just can't hold it in anymore and bursts out, "How could you do that? We're monks. We're not supposed to touch women, especially not like that."
He's been carrying it the whole time.
Exactly. And the elder monk just looks at him, maybe smiles a little, and says, "I set her down hours ago. Are you still carrying her?"
Oof. Yeah. That hits home. I've definitely been that younger monk, carrying some silly grievance for ages.
We all have.
That old story feels so relevant. One of our sources actually shared a personal bit about replaying a tense conversation, feeling it in their jaw, their chest.
Yeah, that physical tension.
Yeah. And then they remember the Zen story and had this realization. My breaths were paying rent to a moment already gone. They weren't carrying the event, they were carrying the story of it.
That distinction is key. It's rarely the raw event itself we carry for long. It's the narrative, the interpretation, the emotional charge we attach to it.
Our minds are amazing storytellers, sometimes too amazing.
And without us realizing, our breath gets recruited to fuel these stories, physically keeping that tension, that on state, alive in the body.
And it goes beyond just the stories, doesn't it? So material really emphasizes breath as our literal life fuel.
Absolutely. The core idea is breath is a cycle. Life is finite. We only get so many breaths from start to finish.
It's not meant to be morbid, though.
Not at all. It's profound. It's about recognizing the value of each cycle. How are you choosing to spend this fundamental resource?
Because it is a resource we're constantly spending. And when it's on autopilot, which it is most of the time,
Then our conditioning drives. Yeah.
the source uses this great analogy, the ego acting like Indra, this mythological king who's just endlessly building palaces.
Right. Constantly constructing and defending this sense of self, offered through stories, validation.
And burning through our most precious fuel, our breath, to do it.
And what are these palaces in everyday life? The sources list them out. Grudges we nurse, constant comparisons that need to be right.
Oh, the need to be right. That takes energy.
It really does. These are all mental structures that demand our breath, our life force. So the question becomes, how much of our finite breath are we pouring into these palaces that honestly don't bring lasting peace?
Just more entanglement, usually.
Exactly.
So the goal then for this deep dive and for the practices we're about to get into is learning to redirect that fuel.
Consciously choosing freedom, choosing presence.
Instead of just endlessly building and maintaining those mental palaces. Okay, let's get practical. How do we actually do that?
Okay, good news. There are tools. Our sources lay out a really clear, doable practice. The 3-minute exhale-release practice.
Something you can try almost anywhere, anytime you feel that way.
Exactly. It's designed to bring you back here, now, and help let go.
Okay, walk us through it. Step 1.
First, name the burden, just mentally, in one simple sentence like, I'm still thinking about that comment, or feeling anxious about the deadline.
Just clearly label it. Got it.
Step 2, breathe nose only. Inhale for about 4 counts. A soft pause, maybe 1 count. Then exhale longer, say 6 to 8 counts.
So the exhale is definitely longer than the inhale.
Yes, that's key. That longer exhale is what starts the physiological shift.
Okay, then what?
Step 3, label each breath silently. As you inhale, think holding, and notice, where do you feel that? Jaw, chest, stomach? Just notice.
No judgment, just awareness.
Right. Then, as you exhale, silently label it release, and consciously try to let go just by maybe 10%. Soften that tension a little bit.
Like slowly deflating a balloon. Okay, what if the mind wanders back to the story?
Totally normal. If the story or the burden pops back up, just gently note thinking, no big deal, and then guide your focus back to the holding on the inhale, release on the exhale.
Just keep bringing it back.
Every time you bring it back, you're strengthening that muscle of conscious attention.
Okay, and the final step.
You seal the practice. After a few rounds, just take one normal, easy breath, and then maybe whisper to yourself, I set it down.
I set it down. Simple, powerful.
It's a conscious commitment. And the why this works is physiological. That longer exhale specifically stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system.
That's the body's brake system, right? Rest and digest.
Exactly. So by activating it, letting go isn't just a mental wish. It becomes something your body's actually doing. It's an embodied release, not forced. You're physically calming your system.
A recalibration. That makes sense. And you mentioned there are other, maybe longer practices too.
Yeah, the sources also touch on things like a 10-minute vagus nerve breath reset. Often involves diaphragmatic breathing, maybe humming.
The vagus nerve. That's like a major highway for the nervous system, isn't it?
It really is. It directly links to that rest and digest response. So practices that gently stimulate it, like deep belly breathing or humming, can be incredibly effective at dialing down stress and bringing you into a state of calm and balance.
So different tools, but the underlying principle is using breath consciously.
Precisely. And that leads to another crucial point about making this stick. A single release feels good, it's helpful in the moment.
What?
But the sources emphasize A single release is helpful. A daily system changes your life. Consistency is where the real transformation happens.
Right. It's not about a one-off fix, but building a habit, a new way of relating to your breath and your inner state.
Exactly. The sources mention a holistic membership as an example of what a dedicated system could look like. It's not about promoting that specific thing, but illustrating the idea of a broader approach.
Covering different areas.
Yeah, things like Kundalini practices, which often use breath with movement and energy work to release deep tension. Or sleep mastery, where breath is obviously key for calming the nervous system. Even practices focused on the third eye, using breath for clarity and focus.
So lots of different angles, but breath is the common thread.
It's the foundation. The point is that a consistent, maybe even holistic approach to conscious breathing weaves through all these paths to well-being. It shows how making it a regular practice can lead to really profound, lasting change, not just temporary relief.
So bringing it back to you, the listener,
Mm-hmm.
what this really means is you have a choice, right?
Mm-hmm. A constant choice.
You can let that unconscious breathing keep fueling the old Lukes, the palaces,
Mm-hmm.
or you can start consciously directing that amazing fuel, that finite resource.
Towards freedom, towards presence, towards actually creating what you want instead of just reacting.
Okay, let's quickly recap the key takeaways then. We talked about how that modern on state leads to shallow unconscious breathing.
And the big insight. Every unconscious breath feeds conditioning, using up our precious life currency on old burdens.
We saw that perfectly in the Zen story, how easily we carry the story long after the event.
And we reframed breath as life's fuel, something we can choose to direct away from building those ego palaces, the grudges, the comparisons.
Toward freedom instead. And we got practical with that 3-minute exhale-release practice.
Yeah, using the longer exhale to tap into the parasympathetic nervous system, making letting go a physical embodied thing. We even touched on the vagus nerve's role.
So here's a final thought to leave you with, building on the source material. They invite us to spend your next 10 breaths on presence, not the past.
Simple, but not easy sometimes.
True. But what if you really committed? What if, today, you consciously used your breath to release just one burden? To truly set it down, what might open up in that space? What new energy, what clarity could emerge?
What could you actually create if you stopped paying rent to moments that are already gone?